All right, so in today's video, we are going to talk about the tropics. We're going to talk about some snow. We'll talk about the weather pattern going into late November, into Thanksgiving. We'll talk about some politics, just kidding. But first, if you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button. Help the channel to grow. Greatly appreciate that. So here we go. We got Hurricane Rafael. So we have a late season hurricane right now. Looks like it's just making landfall in Cuba. Category 3 storm, 115 miles per hour. Doesn't look like your typical Category 3. Don't have your well-defined eye there, but nonetheless, Category 3 impact, hitting Cuba pretty hard right now. Don't think this is going to be a major threat to the United States, if it's going to be a threat at all. So let's actually pop over to the GFS ensembles. So this is the GFS. Run at a lower resolution. It's run 31 different times, so we get an idea of possible scenarios here. So pretty good agreement up until about Friday. So this is now Friday morning. So you can see the red numbers. Those are the 31 different model outputs, just placed in the low pressure, slightly different places, but it's pretty well clustered. So high confidence this thing's going to be kind of just chugging through the Gulf of Mexico over the next couple of days. From here, there is some uncertainty. So if I put this forward, this is now Saturday, this is now early Sunday. You can see some of the models, some of the runs bring it north into the Louisiana coast, the northern Gulf Coast. A lot of them bring it southward. So some uncertainty once we get into the weekend, but what I feel pretty confident saying if this thing does come north, though, we have a lot of wind shear, cooler water temperatures. So I don't think we're looking at a high impact tropical system if this thing even comes northward into the United States. If anything, just some, maybe some heavy downpours, that type of thing, some gusty winds, but nothing major. At least that's what I'm seeing now. And a lot of the models are actually jumping on that further south, that western solution. But as we get more information in, we'll update it. But as of now, I don't think this is going to be a big threat. Now let's pop over. Let's talk some snow here. So we have a winter storm taking place in Colorado, parts of New Mexico right now, and then I'll put this into Thursday, and then it looks like another wave Friday and into Saturday. You can see those dark blues. So the GFS and a lot of the models actually now pointing towards a pretty significant winter storm here in New Mexico and Colorado over the next few days. Let's actually pull up the snowfall total so you can see that. So let me zoom in here. So the greens, it's a foot. The blue is 2 feet. Once you get in those grays and those whites, you're talking about 3 feet plus. So parts of higher elevations, northern New Mexico, southern Colorado, looking at a very big snowstorm potentially, and then maybe even some significant snowfall getting into the Denver metro area, especially points south of the metro area where you have those higher elevations, because the temperature is going to be kind of marginal. So I'll have to see. It'll be interesting to see exactly how much snowfall Denver gets. But when you have those marginal temperatures, you get heavy snowfall, it can certainly overcome that. So that'll be interesting to see. Denver's kind of on that the edge there. So Denver's a tricky forecast. But certainly going to be some interesting scenes coming out of Colorado and New Mexico over the next few days. Let's now pass that, if I can get the GFS to load up here. So once that system moves out, gets pretty quiet, although we will have a storm system moving into the Pacific Northwest, bringing with it some rain and some mountain snows this weekend, early next week. That dives across the Rockies, maybe some more snow coming for Colorado. And then that redevelops, pretty potent storm system over the Central Plains and then into the Great Lakes. So there could be some severe weather, some heavy rain, maybe even a little bit of snow on the back end of this system. And that moves north into Canada. And then maybe we'll have to watch for another storm system kind of taking a similar track once we get into, further out into the following weekend. So let me pull up the 500 millibars. So this is the 500 millibars, this is miles up in the atmosphere, gives us an indication of what's going on with the weather pattern, and we can see you see those deep blues there just off the western coast of North America. So that's a trough, and that's kind of the weather pattern we're in right now. Those troughs dig down to the northwestern part of the country, and then you have this ridge that builds out in front of it, so it prevents anything from really going to the East Coast, where we do need some rain in parts of the East Coast. It's been very, very dry. And then just because of that ridge, it cuts north across the Great Lakes and into Canada. And it looks like that's going to kind of be the pattern here going forward, at least the next 10 to maybe 15 days. But then something interesting happens. Look at that ridging, those bright colors there over Greenland, northeastern Canada, Baffin Island, Hudson Bay. That is a negative NAO. And the negative NAO, as we head into late fall and into the wintertime, that's a pretty big driver of the weather pattern in the United States, particularly the eastern part of the United States. If you like snowstorms in the eastern part of the United States, the mid-Atlantic, the Northeast, you want to see that negative NAO. Just kind of slows down the pattern, allows ingredients to come into play to produce these snowstorms, and also helps to lock in that colder air. So if we can get some type of ridging to build here in the western part of the United States, I say watch out, if the NAO actually has legs here, like the GFS ensembles are indicating. So could get interesting as we head into the later part of November, as we head into Thanksgiving week. Obviously, a lot of people making travel plans, so obviously not making any type of prediction at this point, but just taking a look at the overall weather pattern and seeing how things could potentially come together as we head into that holiday weekend there. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.